high mountain farms of Tennessee, on lonely ranches on the Texas plains, in thousands and thousands of homes, there are women listening to what I say, listening and weighing my words against their own experiences. It seems impossible, incredible, that this is true. And yet I know it is true, because from many of these same isolated homes will come in a few days letters, sometimes telling me I have helped them, sometimes disagreeing with my view of life.
Americans responded to the broadcast by Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt by sending an unprecedented tide of mail and telegrams to the White House. In 1933, she got 300,000 letters and postcards. A fireside chat could generate more than that in a week. Herbert Hoover got 800 letters a day. Roosevelt got 8,000.
Oakland, California. Dear Mr. Roosevelt, I just listened to your talk on the radio. It made me feel as though you were really one of us. A man that you could say to, come on, here's a can of worms. Let's go fishing. A regular guy.
Siloam Springs, Arkansas. Dear Mrs. Roosevelt, it is inspiring to know we have as our First Lady one so really great and influential, who is so kind-hearted.
Seattle, Washington. Dear Mr. President, the ordinary people with whom I came in contact showed new faith and courage after listening to your words.
Bruce, South Dakota. Dear Madam, I am a poor mother with 10 children, and I have no way of making a living. I have an old clock in good running order. I was wondering if you knew of some rich old gentleman who would buy it to help me out.
Prospect, Ohio. Dear sir, your latest piece of glorified propaganda, miscalled a fireside chat, was disheartening and sickening.
Toledo, Ohio. Dear Madam, now we have a blue blood society lady and a patronizing voice giving us all kinds of advice. What an uplift this has been.
FDR was delighted by the mail he got. He considered it a perfect index to the moods and minds of the electorate. If the volume dropped, he worried he was losing touch with the people. Bruce Mirot says that before Franklin Roosevelt took office, Americans did not have such an intimate relationship with the first family.
For most people, the federal government itself and the president were somewhat distant, and figures closer at hand, mayors, governors, were more vital in people's lives.
It's not just that the president and his wife were showing up in people's living rooms. Under FDR, the federal government itself would grow more present in people's lives. FDR had pledged a new deal that everyday Americans would get from their government. The New Deal included programs to hire millions of unemployed workers to build parks, schools, bridges, and airports. There were programs to help struggling farmers, to bring electricity to rural homes, even to support out-of-work artists and writers. FDR's opponents warned that these programs would be exploited by chiselers and frauds. In a 1935 fireside chat, FDR asked Americans to help make sure that didn't happen.
My friends, the most effective means of preventing such evils in this work relief program will be the eternal vigilance of the American people themselves. I call upon my fellow citizens everywhere to cooperate with me in making this the most efficient and the cleanest example of public enterprise the world has ever seen.
He tells citizens, feel free to criticize, tell me where the work can be done better.
Historian Susan Dunn.
He's really involving citizens in this project, in the New Deal, and wanting them to be active, wanting them to feel that the New Deal belongs to them and they're partly responsible for it. And in a way, it also illustrates not top-down government, but government from the people and by the people.
It is time to provide a smashing answer for those cynical men who say that a democracy cannot be honest, cannot be efficient. If you will help, this can be done.
In 1934, Eleanor Roosevelt began a new series of commercial broadcasts, first for a mattress company, then for a trade group representing typewriter companies. She gave talks on the challenges of working women, on educating children, and on fostering world peace. The sponsors paid handsomely.
She wanted women
to make money, and she wanted women's voices to be heard.
Historian Alita Black.
I mean, she was one of the most popular people in the United States and the most hated. She was paid top dollar because she was a draw.
Eleanor Roosevelt donated her radio earnings to charities such as the American Friends Service Committee and the Women's Trade Union League. The First Lady also had a widely syndicated daily newspaper column called My Day. Some of FDR's advisors, who were mostly men, privately wished that the First Lady were a more conventional White House hostess. But as Eleanor Roosevelt said in a later interview, the president supported her professional work.
Now, he never asked me, in all the years we were in the White House or in Albany, he never asked me not to do anything. But I remember once sending him a column because I thought I'd touched on something controversial that he might